Hey everybody, it's Catrice from When Models Talk, and we are on part two with Latoya Scott from FTM Fashion Week. So, just a quick recap on some of the stuff that we went over in the first episode, part one, because it's part two.
Oh, this part two.
Yeah,
Okay. I needed a part two.
yeah. So again, everybody, if you weren't on the last live, now we are talking to Latoya Scott, model, producer, military wife, actor, coach, entrepreneur, mentor, founder of Final Touch Models and FTM Fashion Week, Farbe magazine. Also, she has won an award for, let me get it right, 2020 Armed Forces Insurance Marine Corps Base Camp. I'm going to say it so wrong. Lejeune.
Lejeune. Camp Lejeune.
Found that year. And I
Yeah.
did not say this in the first episode, but the first part one. But she's her FTM Final Touch model. They've won multiple awards, and that's the best of Philadelphia, which says a
Yes.
lot. Uh, who she is, how she runs her business, and how she can make things happen, y'all. I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised by that. Because a lot of times they want you to purchase some stuff, but it wasn't like me like paying to be a part of it. It was like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you were nominated like by more than 10 people for this award.
Awesome.
And it's what? Really? Okay.
Yes, trust me, there's more and more
That's
awards
cool.
coming your way. They're coming. You know, all the stuff you're doing, they going look. They might give you a statue.
Lord help.
Look, it better be a fly. Look, it better be a fly statue.
That's what I said. Okay. Make sure you paint my shoes on the bottom red or something. But they're like, man, we can't
Yes.
do that.
You never look. You never know now, dude.
No,
With everything that's going on, you never know what's going to be
never
lining
hurts to
up next
ask.
year and the following year. You just never know. But so Latoya has done so much, y'all, and the things that we were previously talking about was she does run a boot camp, and I believe it's before the FTM Fashion Week, and it's also after. Is this something that you do all year round, or is it just something that you do only a certain amount of time during the year?
It's something that I typically do a few prior to Fashion Week, and
Mhm.
then I normally take a break after Fashion Week and just because Fashion Week is in November. Hey, Tamika. I normally take a break after Fashion Week just so Christmas is my favorite holiday.
Mhm.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, of course, Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
So I normally take a break after Fashion Week, and I don't normally typically do too much of anything after Fashion Week unless it's like a cameo at somebody else's event.
Mhm.
So like I normally get people that like ask me to go to like different charity events leading up to like Christmas, like the little Toy for Tots type events and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I'll like make a cameo or speak during those events, but if it's something that I have to do and put together, I'm typically not doing it
Mhm.
after November 20th.
Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with that because first of all, it's cold.
Exactly.
And Christmas is right around the corner, and it's like
Yes.
let's just breathe a little bit because at the end of the day, it's in November. The year is
Yeah.
almost over, so let me
Yeah, it's
have
almost over.
a good time.
Yeah.
Hi, hi, Tamika. She said, "Hey, girl, can't wait to see you next month." Aw.
Oh, yes, I can't wait to see you too, Tamika. Hey. Yeah,
So,
Tamika is we normally hire her to be our host for our show. She's such an awesome
aw,
hostess. Like she keeps the crowd hype together, and then
yeah.
she has her radio station out here in Fayetteville, Pink Conversations, so it's pretty cool.
Okay, pink
See,
conversation.
we try to make sure we keep the small businesses in the mix of what we're doing. So Yeah.
Hey, exactly. I think we all need to just continue to work together and
Oh yeah.
uplift each other
Oh yeah.
so we all can
Oh,
come up.
oh yep. All the way up.
Exactly. So it's pink. Say it one more time, pink.
Pink conversations.
Pink conversations. I need to check out that
Yeah.
video. What kind of conversations we having?
It's very inspirational. So she does a lot of inspirational, motivational type of stuff. It's really nice. I love it.
I gotta check it out.
I
I'm gonna write
love
it
it,
down
love
right
it, love
now
it, love it.
so I can check it out.
Yeah,
Pink
go ahead. Go
conversations.
ahead. Go ahead, friend. Y'all friend each other.
Okay. She said, yeah. Okay. So not only so we were talking about when we left off, we were talking I believe we were talking about model marketing, but then we went into something else. What else were we talking about? Let me see. Because I know model marketing was definitely something that was great to hear. Because like I said, a lot of models don't understand when it comes to why they're not getting paid. I was one of them. I understand it now. Because I was like,
Yeah, it's yes, it's definitely a process and it's a numbers game and a lot of people don't understand that it's a numbers game and it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal at all. And it has nothing to do with your name, who you are. It's more so what you can bring to the table. It's a numbers game.
so that makes me think of when it comes to a fashion show and
Hmm.
being as a model, looking at what fashion shows you want to be in that will be the most beneficial to you in
Yes.
your career as far as your brand. Because just like you said, if you're a, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. If you're a model that decides that they want to if they just did mom and pops or they did
Yep.
somebody else, but they want to get paid all this money to do your fashion show, like come on,
Yes.
like
Like it's okay because you do get these people out, these models out here that has that natural talent.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
I've seen some.
yeah, and they have that, and I've seen some. I'm like, oh, she good, but then you look at them and they and they got this stink attitude, and then they
Like that's
just,
what I'm saying.
they think they Tyra Banks, and I'm looking at them like, I just paid 10 grand for, actually almost 12 grand for Cynthia Bailey, and she don't even have this bad attitude. I mean, we had to make sure, her stuff was up to par. 5-star hotel, nothing less. You
Mm-hmm.
know, tinted windows on the truck. Make sure that the truck is 2018 or higher. Like, I'm not doing that for you, and you ain't even selling me not one ticket. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to go. Nobody got time for that.
So it's definitely very important to be professional. Know who you
Yes,
are as a model, like, and be humble
yes,
about it.
and be
Like,
humble about it. Be proud
okay,
about it. Look,
eventually
half
you'll
the
get
time
it.
people don't even know who I am. I'm at my own show picking up trash, getting water for the makeup team, and asking if everybody okay. You need me to go run get you something. I actually
Mm-hmm.
had a model girl was like, excuse me. You walked past me and didn't even ask me if I wanted some water and stuff. Like this is just and tell girl, a few people looked at her like, do you know who she is? And I'm just like, oh, you're right. And so I went and got the girl some water, and I forgot what else smart she said. But then it wasn't until like the show was about to start, and because I'll be looking like this before the show, and then my wardrobe stylist snatched me up, and,
Like,
and
let's
then
go.
she'd be like, "Let's go. It's time to get dressed. It's not happening. You're not doing this to me this time." And so she'll snatch me up and, get me, make sure I'm sitting in the chair getting my hair and makeup done. And then I went backstage and, that's when I had to go on stage, say hi to everybody as always, no matter what host we have, they always be like, come on and say hi. And then I'll say hi to everybody, thank everybody for coming, all that good stuff. And it wasn't until that moment she was like, oh, and then it was, hey, oh, thank you so much for allowing me to be in your too late.
Uh-huh. She like, I hope she let me do it next year.
Oh, she let me do it next year. Like,
Like, I don't know,
too
because
late.
I don't need no diva.
No, I
I
don't need
don't,
no diva.
I
I
need
don't need
people
no
that's
deal.
going
If
to.
you going if you're going to help multiply this coin so we can offset this $60,000 bill, then I'm all for it. But if you're not, you got to go.
I know that's
I ain't
right.
about it.
Especially if you're trying to give me a headache when I don't need it, because
Exactly.
it's
Right.
so much going on around that time, because you're trying to make sure you
Look,
have like the show goes off great and everything works out and everything's on
yeah.
point. Like that's why when I normally model, I'm like, what y'all need me to do? Y'all need my help? You need me
Yeah.
to, like,
Girl,
I'm
and that's
not
how.
gonna go pick up anything.
Yes, and that's how I was too as a model. Like before I, started doing all of this, like that's how I was too. Actually, that's how I fell into doing backstage coordinating. Like I will always, be that helpful model. Like, look,
Mm-hmm.
I did what I needed to do. I tried on all the clothes I need to try on. I got some downtime right now. I'm helping other models, making sure they not tearing other, designers' clothing, helping
Yeah,
designers hang stuff back up, because that's also another way to get cool with the designers. Because that
yeah,
guess who's always doing shows? Designers.
yeah,
And a lot of times, designers can bring their own models, and
yeah.
that's what started happening. And except it started slowing down for me walking, but it started picking up for me getting paid doing backstage coordinating because I was
Mm-hmm.
so good at it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was, hey Toya, I need to hire you so you can make sure all the models is doing what they need to do. And then what
Mm-hmm.
started happening is the producers started seeing what I was doing for like two designers, because I would get hired for the one designer, and then another designer be like, oh, can you help me too? And then I'll be doing the other designer. Mind you, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, because first of all, Cash App wasn't out back then. I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to help you unless you cash at me. Like I would just help the other designer.
Yeah.
And so I would be helping the one that paid me and then helping another designer. And then another designer be like, oh, well, can you hang this back up? And then I get caught helping another designer. Now I'm helping everybody backstage. And then the producer is getting wind and they like, who is this that
Yeah.
had the backstage on lock?
Yeah.
And then guess what? Now they like, hold up, wait. Look, one producer called me like a month later, like I was looking and I realized you was not on our staff roster. And then I had to track you down and figure out that the designer hired you. No, we need you for our show.
I know that's right.
Yes.
I know that's right.
And guess what? I was getting more than what being a model, and so that's how it started. Me doing a lot of the behind the scenes, and actually eventually becoming a producer myself.
Okay.
So pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience. So I have experience from like all angles, and that's why I try to bring my experience. Not try, I do. I bring my experience every time I teach a workshop from all aspects of this industry. Like I can tell you, what people think from a producer standpoint. I can tell you what people think from a manager standpoint, from me being a manager. Used to be, because I'm not managing any more models. Y'all drive me crazy. And then I can also, talk from my experience as, being a model, and my experience being a backstage coordinator, just from all aspects. And then now even, my experience as a editor in chief.
Yes.
Yes. So, and so I bring all of that when I am teaching my workshops to try to give models a better insight of, what to look out for, the do's and don'ts, and, let's just learn how to do better. Let's do better, be better.
Yeah, I think if you have an agency and you aren't having, now don't get me wrong, I've been to agencies where we've had our model meetings and they told us, don't do this and this is what you should be doing and yada yada yada. But I feel like as an agency, I don't know if they're doing it, which I don't think they're doing it. But
no. And it's a reason why. It's not their job. And so that's why in the boot camp, I also teach that, like the difference between a manager and an agent is actually the manager's job to teach you and do all of that. And that's one of the reasons why I actually know so much, because I've been managing for a while. But it's actually the manager's job. That's why a lot of times when you go to an agency, it's not necessary. Agencies don't normally take walk-ins.
Mm-hmm.
It's normally a lot of majority of their models come from managers because they're already trained, they already know. The agencies don't really have time for that. And so when they are doing like the little model meetings, it's more so a brush up because they don't typically have time for that. Their number one job is to get you jobs because that's how they get paid. They get paid a percentage.
Mm-hmm. But I don't understand that. I'm not getting it. I don't understand why not have a model boot camp as an agency though.
They can actually host one, but not like them doing it themselves. And some states is actually illegal for agencies to actually have like schools attached to them or schools and stuff like that because managers and agents actually have certain roles and they have to stay within those roles.
Mm.
Like even as a manager, I can't legally say, label my company and register my company as management and then start moving like an agency where I'm booking you jobs and stuff like that. And it started going in that direction. That's why I had to start labeling it as training. Sometimes it was paid training, and sometimes it wasn't paid training. And that's how I was labeling it as, like, because people started calling me for models. And I'm just like,
She's like,
okay, all right. This is going to be on the job training, guys. On the job training. I am not your agent. This is on the job training. So,
yeah.
and it worked out. I just with all the hats that I wear now, I just rather not do that anymore. But I always still have models come up to me like, "Hey, do you know?" Yeah, I do know. Here you go.
Yes. Because I think about like different companies and I think how they run their business and how they do certain things. But I'm assuming that when it comes to the modeling industry, that there is definitely certain guidelines that you have to follow and you have to stay within that realm of what to
Yes.
do. Because if I think about a multi-level marketing company, which has nothing to do with modeling, but when you think of a multi-level marketing company, you think of, okay, they have boot camps. They have ways that they're going to train their people in order to basically have them do better and be better in that field. But I feel like as an agency, I don't understand why.
So I guess look at it this way. Look at it this way. If you are a hospital
Mm-hmm.
and as the hospital, you have nurses, you have doctors,
Mm-hmm.
and you're hiring them to do, jobs. You need a
Mm-hmm.
surgeon, a brain surgeon. You need, pediatric doctors and stuff like that. The hospital is not going to have time to train these people. It's not their job. It's just their job to provide the opportunity for them to do their job. And that's how the agency is. That's how agency works. If you look at it that way, it makes more sense.
It does. It does.
Because
I'm not.
if you got to think about it, like if the hospital had enough time to actually train doctors and nurses, when would they have time to actually do the stuff, have time to actually create space and create the environment for patients to come in and actually get worked on, if that makes sense. Like they wouldn't, because running the school takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of licenses and all of that stuff, permits, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then also running the hospital with patients is the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so that being said, you have to, it's hard to do both. And in
Yeah.
a lot of states, it's illegal to do both, even in the fashion industry.
Well, I get it. I get it. So the agencies stay in their lane, and the boot,
Yeah.
the educational part stay in their lane, as far as so we don't mix the two. So
Mm-hmm.
so everybody gets their job done a certain way.
Yes.
District boot camp prior to agent. How I see it is, if you don't want to be in control or be in that process of being someone's career, start a boot camp.
Yeah.
That's the way to make money. Start a boot camp. And obviously, I'm just saying, I feel like Philly need it. I don't know if they're doing it, but I feel like they need it because
They
there's
got
a lot of people that don't know.
they have people out there doing stuff. I know well, it's been years since I've been in Philly. But when I was out there doing boot camps and stuff, there was a lot of people out there also doing stuff. Like I wasn't the only one.
Girl, I ain't here. I'm gonna start asking all my model friends, like, y'all hear anything? I ain't hear nothing. And I feel like it's beneficial.
Yeah.
To be honest, if I
It
could
is.
put it this way, if I could have went to a model boot camp when I first started modeling, I think I would be a lot farther ahead because that would give me more of a insight on what I actually need to do. When I came into my whole thing was, what do I need to do? And that was the hardest part. People couldn't tell me exactly what I need to do, really.
Yeah.
And have me understand it in a way where I was like, okay, this is all I gotta do. Make it simple, make it easy, and boom, done. I shouldn't have to, well, I should, but I shouldn't have to, if I'm all the way in another state and Latoya all the way in Jacksonville, and me have to hit her up and say, when yo Zoom? So I can get the information that should already be available to me in a local area, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I'm like,
That makes sense.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because if
It
I
definitely
would have,
makes
I was
sense.
like, okay, now I know that I am just not on the runway to be cute. No, I am the mannequin. I need to show off the clothes, and there's a certain way I need to be doing things when I'm on that stage. You know,
Yes. And there's
giving
certain walks that you can use to make the clothes come out, to stand out more. And a lot of people don't
exactly
know that either.
a lot of stuff that I still might not know. A lot of things I learned is through having conversations with people and also researching myself. When I wanted to start my own agency, and it was like, okay, Patrice, what do you have to do? It's just not gonna put a name and then open the doors. You actually it's a process to this.
It's a process. It's definitely a process. But girl, I can help you now. Because I ain't about that life no more. I ain't doing it. So I would definitely help you, put together one and open up one and, give you some of the knowledge that helped me to open up my management company. You just will have to take it a step a little further for the agency. But yeah, I just,
She said
girl.
we all preach that seriously. Girl. It's definitely a
Yeah.
process, but if you want to know more, Latoya has, let me just run down what she got going on, y'all. Because if you go to her website.
Yes, I do consulting. I build websites. I create logos, create flyers. I create comp cards. I kind of fell into graphics too because, these people out here be trying to charge you $1 million for stuff and then be mad when you be like, can you fix that a little bit? It's a little blurry. Blurry, it ain't blurry. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm gonna just do this myself because I ain't got time to be going back and forth with you about if this is blurry and if it's not blurry, or hey, can you update this for me? And then now you got an attitude. Like I'm just do this myself. And so I started doing stuff myself. And it wasn't until my business partner was like, you need to turn that into a business and make that a part of your personal brand. And then that's when I started doing that. But I'm doing it where I'm not charging people, killing people with prices. Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm more so doing it because I wish that was around when I started, because I think I would have been a lot further than I am now if I would have had someone that can help me, coach me, and help me save money. Because I've wasted thousands of dollars on stuff that I could have saved myself from if I would have known.
Yeah.
if I would have known better, I should say that. And so when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely, because I know all about that life.
Yes.
I'm like,
Oh
come
yeah.
on. I ain't doing right. Now I gotta go back to the drawing board and fix this and then fix this
Like
up.
now
This
I
up
gotta go back
this.
to the drawing board. And like even now, like, even where I am now, I still have a coach that helps me just with different things because sometimes I can be, the jack of all trades and master of none.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I can be that person that's like, okay, here's my to-do list. I have 50 things on my to-do list. Now I'm gonna try to do all 50 things all at once. It's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I
Once,
had to actually sometimes, and and my business partner is really good with it. She's actually also one of my mentors, but she would also, hey Carmen, she would tell me like, look, take one thing at a time. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I can do all of this all at once. It's like, no, you can't. It's like, okay. So, it's always, and I say that to say it's always room for growth, no matter where you are in life.
yeah, I agree. I agree. So definitely go on her website, check it out, and what's your website again for people who do not know?
It is the real LatoyaScott.com. And then also you can follow me at the real Latoya Scott on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yes.
It's who a Libra, me?
I'm not. She's talking about you.
Oh, she's talking about me. No, I am an Aries actually.
Oh yeah, because our birthdays are close. I'm the March 9th, and I think yours like the 20th something.
Yes, 26. Yours March. My sister's is March 8th.
See, you know. And I'm sure if I mess with you,
Yes.
we'll get along like in 2.5 seconds.
Yes. Oh yes. Look, everybody used to call us the twins because we used to always we looked so much alike when we were in grade school. But then when she joined the military and moved away, we started, I guess, developing our own like separate
Mm-hmm.
features because we did look like twins. Everybody thought we was twins. And then our birthdays was in the same month, so my mom used to always do our birthdays together. So it didn't make
Oh Lord,
that didn't help our case.
it really didn't, because then people really start thinking that y'all was twins.
Yeah, like my mom is a cop in Philadelphia, so she was like, "Yeah, I locked up one of y'all friends from high school because she was like, oh, you the twins, mom, right?" And she was like, "I don't have no twins." Yeah, yes, you do, Tia Toya. And I'm like,
And then she
yeah, and
named
then it's
y'all
Tia and
similar.
Toya too, so that doesn't help either. No.
Yes, I can't with your mom. She was like, we gonna knock this out. Y'all have your birthday parties together. Y'all about to save me some money.
Yes.
Um, but yeah,
Oh
so
yes.
talk about networking when it comes to networking
Yes.
and the importance of it, and also when it comes to doing your research as a model.
So definitely. Hey, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely doing research. You definitely want to do research on people before you start, doing business with them, before you meet them, or even before you go to an event. You want to definitely do your research because it's very important. It makes you look like you actually cared about, being a part of this organization or actually meeting someone when you actually do your research. Because, some people, they'll meet me and just say, oh yeah, you're a military wife. That's great. And it's like, oh, okay.
I'd
But
be so much more.
then I'll have that, and it's like, okay, it's just like, oh, okay, that's great, that's nice. But then I will have another person come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I like Googled you, and I was just like, I can't believe you're like out here and you're like so down to earth, and it's like, oh my god, and it's like, and then I'm like this, like, all right, can you not say that so loud so people over here like. But yeah, and it's really, I, it not necessarily like a brush on the ego or anything, because you don't want to necessarily brush people egos, because that becomes overwhelming too, because it's like, all right, calm
Yeah,
down, you
like
ain't
relax.
just because you got me an apple don't mean you can sit in the front of the classroom. But it just but it's just, I guess it shows, it kind of shows that, people appreciate you. Like, like,
Yeah,
oh, wow, she actually like took the time out to like really like, okay, that's cool. Like, okay, that's really cool.
yeah.
People actually, watching. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so it makes you, really want to actually have a conversation with that person versus somebody like, oh, okay, hey girl, I saw you, you little military spouse of the year. Hey, okay, yeah, get out of here. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, right. Yeah. I
Yes.
do more than that, but okay. So nice.
Yeah. So, and Latoya's talking about when you go to an event, when you're working on networking or wherever you're going, because at the end of the day, if you're in entertainment or if you're in any type of business, you're always networking. You should be.
Yes, always networking. And you want to always be ready. You want to always
Yeah.
have business cards or something, a comp card, something. You want to have something. And not no piece of paper that you just wrote your name on either. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's better, do better.
Yeah, because I've had
So,
my definitely I had my hiccups, and I had to tell myself, Patrice, you know better. You know
yes.
better.
Like you knew you was coming to this event 2 months ago. You could have ordered yourself some cards from Vista Print. They only $20.
Girl, I ain't gonna share my stories. I'm gonna leave that alone. Cause
Oh goodness.
I just know next time I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better.
Yeah,
That's all.
I mean, we all had those moments. There was moments where I was like, oh my goodness, I just gave away my last card, and I didn't even think to look before I came to this event. But we just do better. We all do better. But I normally direct people to the website. But not everybody even have a website, so it's like, well, what are you directing them to? That's professional looking. Hey,
Yeah,
Michelle.
that's true.
So that's MCW Original down there. She's a celebrity stylist, a celebrity designer, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, she started out with us actually as a volunteer for Fashion Week. And she messed up and she showed me some of her work and was like, I dabble in designing. Look, this is some of my stuff. And I was like, I'm putting you in the show next month. Girl, get ready. She was like, I don't think I'm ready. I was like, you ready? Let's go. Let's get
Oh,
it. Doing it. We doing it. And ever since then, I mean, when I tell you she is in high demand, high demand.
I know that's right.
Yep, she even made some stuff with Cynthia Bailey because she did the show last year too. And Cynthia Bailey patronized some of the designers, so it was pretty cool.
That's good. Well,
See? Everybody win.
congratulations.
That's how me and my business partner work. We set it up where, we all win. Like it's not just about, the producers coming in and
Mhm.
making money off of ticket sales because that's not true. Okay. We make money off of when people actually sponsor and stuff and we can
Mhm.
actually, you know, it can actually pay for itself because,
Yeah.
ticket sales is the last thing,
Yeah.
the very last.
And a lot of
That's why.
people.
That's why I really be looking at when I get these models. They're like, "Yeah, I want to be paid to be in the show." No, no, I don't even know you. Matter of fact, I just looked on your social media. You got 20 people following you. No, not happening at all. No,
I
go kick rock.
and even now, over this whole big boom of Instagram and so many people having so many followers, you get so many people that when it comes to casting, that's what they want to know. How many followers you got? How many people you
Because it's
got?
so important because when you as a producer when you get somebody with a bunch of followers they're sharing that they're going to share that they was in the show, so if they're sharing that they're in the show, guess what, that's marketing for us, because this model is sharing stuff, and when she shares stuff she gets over 1,000 impressions and
Mm-hmm.
over 100 and some odd likes. Now we need to know how many of those impressions and likes actually turns into ticket sales, and that's
Yeah.
your job to tell us.
Mm. Okay.
But yes.
And also, when it comes to networking, you touched a little bit on knowing the event you're going to. So
Yeah.
if you know researching the event, if it's something that just started happening versus something that's been going on for years,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you have to actually research and look up. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
do it. I know I never did, but now I know. I know the
So
difference.
I look up the events because I need to know who's gonna be in the audience. Like I'm not So when I was actually modeling, my thing was if I'm going to do something for free, it has to be worth my time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to know if it's just going to be mommy, auntie, and JoJo and little snot nose Kenny in the audience. Like I need to know it's going to be more than that in the audience in order for me to
Yeah.
do this show for free. Because then I can network
Yeah.
and potentially gain something bigger off of that.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like when people do our show, like we have so many opportunities for people to grow and make something off of just being in our show. Like for instance, I just was talking about the designer. The designer participated in the show. The designer was able to now claim herself as a celebrity designer because now she's designed for celebrities. And that was just one. Because we have celebrities come to all of our shows. So she's designed for, I want to say, almost every celebrity that came to our show, to be honest.
I know that's right.
So, but she's also one that always networks too. So even as a designer, you know, you have to learn how to network. You have to know how to, you know, to market your stuff. It's just something that, you know, I always try to make sure that people are aware of, you know, when it being in the industry, like just because you walked on a runway doesn't mean that people are going to stop you talk to you. You need to make sure show to know who's going to be in the audience and make sure you have a picture of that person. Get that picture of that person in your head, like so you at least have some knowledge of what this person looks like. So day of the show, you know who to walk up to, and then you start talking to them. And like Michelle, the MCW that's on there commenting, she will always ask me like, okay, who I need to know. And I will always tell her, like she asked me, and she always catches me at the time where I got a little downtime to actually tell her. And I'll be like, okay, you need to make sure you talk to that person, that person, that person, that person. And when I tell you she follows with it and she makes sure, she's like, hey, let me make sure I got to make sure I have enough cards to at least give to the people, the important people.
Yeah.
Not, you know, everybody's important.
Yeah.
But, you know, to the movers and shakers, I'll say that.
Yeah. The people that's going to actually help you maybe possibly further your career.
Yes.
Or lead you in a direction of furthering your career, regardless of what you're doing.
Yes.
I got my notes. Before, I literally would just go to events and I'll be like, okay. And I would just talk to everybody. Well, I'll just talk to everybody.
And that's good too. You know, talk to everybody. That's good.
And I just find out a lot of stuff that they do, but it's smarter to already have basically, you kill a lot of time because trying to reach everybody in the room, that's a lot of work.
It is. That's why you gotta when you do your research prior to the show, then that helps you to narrow down who you need to talk to first, and then if whoever you miss, and those are the people that you can probably talk to through Facebook and Instagram anyway.
Yes. Because I was
but you talk to those people that you know you're not going to be able to talk to beforehand, you know, after the show. Like for instance, you know, Cynthia Bailey, you got that small window where you're going to have, you know, that opportunity to talk to Cynthia. You want to make sure you talk to Cynthia. Tell JoJo you'll talk to him after your opportunity with Cynthia, and you go run. Go talk to Cynthia. Make sure you know, drop that little nugget with her, whatever you want to do, and then you go talk to JoJo.
I know that's right, but I'm learning today, you know, because normally, like when I go to events, I'm more of like me. Well, before I started modeling, my sister was modeling, and I wasn't doing it. So my whole thing was, I don't mind being in the background, girl. Go ahead, do what you do. Bye. I'm gonna be in the background. You need me to hold your coat? I got your coat. I got it. So I always like being in the background of everything. I never wanted to be in the spotlight. So even now, sometimes I have to catch myself from not trickling back to the background and saying, okay, I'm just going to be back here, even though this is an event that I really need to be networking or I need to be doing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me actually go mingle, because one thing I know how to do is I definitely know how to mingle with people and talk to people, because it's just fun. Especially when you find out and you learn more and more about other people. It's just stuff that's just fun. I just like talking to people in general. So
Oh,
if I now, plus I love to know what the person does because I just love to hear like their story of how that came about. How did you get to that point?
yes.
But now if I already know what they do, I already have. Oh, how did you get into this? Tell me a little bit
Yes.
about this.
And look, and people love to talk about themselves. So
They
you
do.
start bringing up stuff like that, they like, oh, well, let me tell you. And and it's not, and I look at that like, because when people start doing that, girl, I'll start talking, and then next thing I know, I'm dropping all these free nuggets, and look, and people were just writing it down like, oh, wait, look, and then but on a serious note, that's a good thing because even when I can run into people that I know, I need you to drop some free nuggets real quick. That's good because that's stuff that you can take back and then now use for, growing for growth.
Absolutely. Because stop on dropping nuggets. Let's talk about this model Bible.
So y'all, let me
What
tell
you
y'all
gonna
about
do?
how this model Bible came along. So I have a binder that I use for my model boot camps.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, okay, so are you selling that? And I'm like, well, no, I didn't plan on selling it. No, I didn't. And so now I'm actually in the process of actually mass producing it. So it will be ready by mid-December.
All right.
It will be the Model Bible series. So it's going to be a few of them because I'm going to break it up so it's not too overwhelming because it's a binder about this thick, y'all. So I'm going to break it up so it's not too overwhelming, and it's just going to be a Model Bible series. And it's pretty much all of my knowledge of what I've learned over the years from a model aspect, from a producer's aspect, from uh, a editor's aspect, and also from a manager's aspect. So about the industry and just helping fellow models just be better. So
So
I'm
you already.
excited about it. So I'm extremely excited about it. I even have my photo shoot scheduled for the cover. So
Yes.
I'm excited about it. I'm gonna have to do something with this mane though, because this weather out here got me between the weather and this pandemic, trying to sit in somebody's chair during this pandemic has been crazy. But so yes, I'm excited about it. So I thank you
Yes.
very much for pushing me, giving me that little nudge, like go ahead and sell that book, girl. Like so, I'm gonna make sure I get you your copy.
Yes, because it's gonna be read in a day. Because I need to know exactly because, like you said, you can literally learn something every single day. You're always getting information every day. So why
Yes.
not use that, especially if it's going to help you in your career? Because I don't know how a manager works. I don't know how. Don't be wrong. I know things about Runway, but I don't know everything about Runway. And then at
Yes.
times, if you're the type of person where going online researching, you just like, oh my gosh, you get overwhelmed. It's so much better
Hmm.
to have somebody write it down, plain and simple, break it down to you, and say, okay, this is all you got to do. Boom.
All in one place. There you go.
Yes, because
Yeah.
life would be so much easier if people just tell somebody exactly what they supposed to do. Don't give me a
Yes.
whole bunch of stuff. Just tell me A, B, C, and D. Boom. We got this. And there'll
Yes.
be some people that will read it and say, okay, I'm gonna do exactly that. And you got other hard-headed people that don't. But either way, I feel
Yeah.
like when you put it together, I'm getting it. Because I need to know. I really need to know
Yes.
exactly what needs to be done. Again, I don't know every little thing. So I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you.
Because
Thank
now
you so
you got the boot camp, you got your model Bible. I'm just saying.
much.
It's gonna be lovely.
Yeah.
And then presentation.
Yes. Look, you see, I say I got the photo shoot, already scheduled. Because if I don't, I can't just say I'm gonna take this selfie and put this on the cover.
Nope.
No, mm-mm. Presentation is everything.
Yes, that a lot of times presentation can make or kill something if you don't do it right.
Oh, oh
People
yeah.
like, well, why nobody? I had to tell people like, yo, flyer. Nobody ain't coming off that flyer. No.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Like it has to be presentable. It has to be something that's, on point. And I
Yes.
learned that by doing my own flyers when I was working at my
Mm.
old job. Because my supervisor, she'll be like, oh, just put something together. And me, I gotta be extra. So then I would show her stuff and she'd be like, oh, that's good. Girl, you ain't paying attention to that. I spelled that wrong. I did this wrong. This don't look right. And me, I have to get a feeling of that's it before I push out anything. If I don't get that feeling, I'm like, I'm back at the drawing board. Like, okay, something ain't right. Lord, what we doing? Is this the right
Yes.
color?
Yes.
And a lot of people
Oh
don't do
yeah.
that because they're such in a rush. Presentation is very important. That's why I don't even like to put my name on things that is not right to my brain. I'm like, no.
That's one of the reasons why I started my own magazine, because a lot of these magazines, they presentations was jacked up, and some of them they even still be like, "Hey, can we do a story on you?" No, I ain't feeling your presentation. I don't want my name on that. Because
Exactly.
then I gotta promote that or I gotta share that, and then I ain't trying to share that because that looked like my daughter did it, so I'm good. No,
Exactly.
no shade, really, no shade. It's just I'm gonna need you to step it up just a little bit.
And it's really not that hard as long as if you learn your craft and you
Mm.
dive more into how to do it and just educate yourself a little bit more, you can make everything a whole lot better. When I
Oh
first
yeah.
when I first started doing flyers for my program that I was doing working at a nonprofit, everybody was just like, everybody who saw my flyers, they was like, oh my, like when I first started doing, like the first week, it was like, okay, Catrice, you all right. But then that second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on, they was like, yes, to the flyers. People started using my flyers and just changing up a little bit of the words to present to their location.
Oh yeah.
And they was like, no, we're going to use Catrice. She good. It's all about getting the ideas. So I think
Yeah.
you just take a little bit more effort to making it look more clean, more professional, and on point.
Oh yeah.
That makes a huge difference. Now, it takes a whole nother step to have the event and make that look on point. You can't have the flyer looking like $1 million and then the event look like what, who did it, and when.
Exactly. And then be trying to figure out why you can't sell no tickets.
Yes. And then why the next time you have an event, nobody's showing up because you ain't step up your game.
Exactly. Yes.
So trust me, because I know when I start doing my events, because they're coming, but when I start
Yes.
doing my events, I want to make sure that it's because like I said, I've been to a lot of events. And when I say some of the events I've been to have been so beautiful, it's just like, oh my God, it's like this is what I want all the time. And they're all so nice. So I take tips from that and also reaching out to those particular places that you've been and say, okay, how did you do that? How did you get this lighting or how did you get this in here? What company did you go with? You'll be shocked at how many people like to share and say, okay, because at the end of the day, that person that they're partnered with just got business because of you.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm just saying, come out with that model book, girl. So model Bible.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yes. Model Bible.
So I can finish. It's kids, girls, kids. So I can put my. I'm surprised your kids they ain't coming. They ain't bother you.
Girl, see, my office is downstairs in the living room because I would have been sitting in my office at my desk, all cute and stuff. But that's open space. So if I was there, you'll hear all the kids running around. Hey, what you doing? You on live? Are you on live? Like, no, I'm hiding upstairs in my room.
I had to yell.
With the door closed.
I had to yell beforehand.
Yes.
And do a couple of mommy faces in between. My daughter's fine. Yeah. She never comes and bothers me. It's the boys. I don't know what's the boys' problem.
Yes.
She said model
Oh yeah.
Bible bestseller. It is. It's going to look. Decree and declare.
Yes, claiming it. Woo! Hold on. This let me do my sanctified dance. Claiming it.
Yes, girl. I'm telling you, it's gonna be on point. So definitely when that comes out, just make sure you send it to me so I can make sure I
Hey
post it in my
Shelly.
channel. Yes, Shelly Shell.
Shelly Shell in the building.
And
Yeah. That's another one that I didn't know she did so much stuff that she does. Like I
yeah.
had to do her media kit. And I was like, what? Wait, Shelly, hold up. Shelly, I didn't even know you did this. Like, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is like 25 things I didn't know you did, Shelly. Like, I didn't know you did this. Like, what in the what?
Yep.
Yes. Another humble person that I absolutely love, and is somebody that's doing so many great things out there in Philly. Like, love her today.
Yes. Yes, Shelly. See, we got the model Bible coming out. When your book coming out? We gonna expertise.
For real. Yes, she need to do a book. So you need to be talking to her about where her book at.
I think I mentioned to her before. I think I mentioned it. Shelly. I mentioned it to her before. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Love y'all. We love you too.
Yeah, we love you too, but if I gotta do my book, you gotta do your book too.
Yep. Because I feel like if all the stuff that we're learning is for a reason.
Yeah.
So why not
She
share?
talking about she got the cover done.
That ain't enough.
No.
But you know what? The Lord will have you bring it out when you're supposed to bring it out, girl. Don't even,
Yeah, that's true.
you
Yes.
know.
In the Lord's timing.
Yeah, because he might be like, you got more to put in that book. We ain't done yet. Come on. Come
We
on.
ain't done yet. Yes.
So, yes.
Oh yeah.
So, also, because it was another thing I wanted to talk about. So, backtracking a little bit about transition, like when it comes to transitioning from
Mm-hmm.
starting from modeling to acting to business. Excuse me. What was that process like for you? Because I know things didn't happen overnight.
No, it did not. Um, but it also wasn't as hard as it sounds,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of it had to do with being in the right place at the right time and actually taking advantage of that opportunity. So if it wasn't for me saying, okay, I'm just going to do it, I'm going to do
Mm-hmm.
it. Like even down to the movie. So at the time I did the last movie I did was Annapolis. So even at the time I was doing that, before that I was doing a lot of modeling,
Mm-hmm.
and I could have said, you know what? No, I don't know if I can do this movie. I'm only going to be an extra, so it ain't going to be that big. But if I would have did that, then I would have missed a whole opportunity, because I went from extra to feature extra, which
Yeah.
now I'm SAG. And so now I'm also not only SAG, but my name was also in the credits. So that's a big thing. I don't know if we have any actors watching, but that's a huge thing to actually have your name on the credits. Not too many
Yeah.
extras have that. And and I even have my own what's that thing? What's the website for the actors? The
IBM.
IDBM.
It's not
Yeah.
IBM. I think it's IM.
IDBM
It's
something.
something like that.
Yeah, one of those. Y'all know what we talking about.
Yeah.
So I even have one of those from, doing the movie. So I thought that was cool.
It's
And but if
IMBD. It's
There we
IMBD.
go. Okay, there we go. Thank you,
Got it.
Shelly. Thank you. Thank you for getting us right. I knew it was a D in there somewhere. I just didn't know where it went. IMBD. There we go.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, so that was cool. But if I would have turned down that opportunity, being bougie, like I ain't nobody extra, then I would have lost that. I lost out on that opportunity, because it takes so much to even be SAG qualified nowadays.
Yeah.
Like you have to do a certain amount of movies and have a certain amount of hours in. And
Yep.
so because I said, yeah, I'll do it. This would be a great experience. I'll do it. I went from extra to feature extra, and then I was on the set for like 4 months straight every day.
Yes.
So, girl, when I tell you that money was, I was like, oh, yes, God. They was like, okay, we're gonna you guys are gonna have a rain scene, you're gonna get extra, and you're gonna get meal penalty pay. And I'm like, meal penalty pay? Like we was eating all day. Like the crab cart been feeding me shrimp like all day. Oh, you know what? I ain't gonna fight y'all. Like, go ahead and give me that
Yes.
meal penalty pay and the wet pay because y'all had this fake rain falling on us while Tyrese was yelling at us to do push-ups. I was like, okay, I'm good with it. I ain't gonna argue with y'all. Like, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm gonna take that. Take
I
that.
know
Take that.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So it was definitely an experience for me with acting. It opened up my eyes to see, how the acting industry was.
Mhm.
Of course, the craft cart and the food eating was my favorite part. But it also let me see how, just because I never knew that from the outside looking in, I always thought, when they film the movie, they just film the movie straight, as the script. And that's definitely
Mhm.
not the case. So like
Mhm.
while I was filming the movie, like all my family and friends would be like, "Oh, what is the movie about?" I have no clue, y'all. Like I have no clue. Like one day we was filming, Tyrese was yelling at James Franco for doing push-ups, but not doing push-ups. Then we was fighting over here, and then
Mhm.
we went to the shipyard. I have no idea what's going on. Y'all gonna have to watch the movie with me at the movie theater because I have no clue. And they just changed the whole script like 2 days ago. I have no clue what's going on.
Look, because they don't shoot it in, what is it called, in sequence. It's always like
Yeah, they
this
don't spend.
here and here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think it's also based on, depending on who's in the scene too. Like if they have like a cameo from some other
mhm.
celebrity, if that celebrity is not available to shoot,
Yeah.
at the particular time they have to go off of that as well. So it was pretty cool. I even met Lisa Ray during that too, so that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was very, very, very beautiful in person. I was like, oh my gosh, she has like an aura. Look, I know she probably was like, "Who? Why did that girl keep staring at me?" Because I was sitting down at below at the bleachers, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that is Lisa Ray. She's so pretty." Like during that whole entire time, I think that's the only time I got starstruck. Everybody else, I was just like, "All right, we gotta work." Because I was seeing them every day, and two, I didn't want it to be all awkward and extra since we all had to see each other every day. So I wasn't gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Tyrese! Oh, there's Tyrese! Oh my gosh, there's Tyrese!" Like I didn't want to make it all extra, like to the point where he looking at me like, "Dude, like you saw me yesterday. Like, come on." But yeah, but when I saw Lisa Ray, I was like, "It's Lisa."
Well, it was wonderful having this conversation with you, darling.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And thank you so much for coming on to When Models Talk and having a great conversation and giving so many great nuggets. And we're just about done. So I want you to share with people, where can they follow you again and how you can be reached.
So I can be reached at www.thereallatoyascott.com. And then you can also follow me at the Real Latoya Scott at on Instagram